we are now getting a new snapshot of just how tight this US presidential race could really be. A CNN poll out in the last few hours shows Harris and Trump virtually tied in the three key swing states of Georgia, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. Harris leading in Wisconsin and Michigan, while Trump has an edge in Arizona. When it comes to who voters trust the most to handle the economy, Trump leading in all 6 of those battleground states. The poll also shows the majority of voters who said the economy is the most important issue in this election are Trump supporters.
Well, what prosecutors are alleging essentially amounts to the successful infiltration by a Chinese government agent to the highest levels of New York state government for more than 10 years. Earlier on Tuesday, federal prosecutors charged Linda's son and her husband, Chris Hu. Linda is a former aide to Governor Kathy Hochul, and she also worked for former Governor Andrew Cuomo, as well as other state agencies. Now, federal officials say that Linda and her husband enriched themselves and received a series of payoffs in exchange for actions that ultimately benefited the Chinese government and the Communist Party. Specifically, they say that they laundered money, received tickets to special events, helped to promote their friends' businesses, and at one point even received a special delivery of specialty duck, which had been prepared by a Chinese official's personal chef. One of the more shocking allegations that the government has made in this case is that Linda's son at one point used her influence to get former Governor Andrew Cuomo to publicly thank Chinese officials for donating medical equipment. This was at the height of the pandemic, and as New York was trying to respond, Linda's son was allegedly using her position to make sure that Chinese officials were being publicly recognized. Now, as part of her role, part of what the government alleges Linda's son did, she specifically worked to block Taiwanese officials from having access to New York state government officials. Now, Linda's son and her husband did appear in court with their lawyers. They have pleaded not guilty, and their lawyers said that the allegations are all the result of an overly aggressive investigation by the federal officials.
In Ukraine, rare deadly strikes in the west and big changes on the way for the government in Kyiv. Well, sirens sounded as Russian missiles pounded the city of Lviv. Officials say 7 people were killed, including 3 children. And this comes a day after one of Russia's deadliest attacks of the war. Meanwhile, Ukraine's foreign minister was amongst those to hand in their resignations ahead of an expected cabinet reshuffle. That is according to the parliament speaker. President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country is entering a critical period.
The autumn will be extremely important for Ukraine, and our state institutions must be set up so that Ukraine achieves all the results we need, all of us. To do this, we need to strengthen some areas of the government, and we have prepared personnel decisions. There will also be changes in the office. I'm also counting on a slightly different weight for certain areas of our foreign and domestic policy.
There is, of course, the mint julep at the Kentucky Derby. There's the Pimm's Cup at Wimbledon, but now it's the Honey Deuce cocktail at the U.S. Open. It is expected to rake in over $10 million in sales before the event concludes this weekend. That's enough to cover the championship prize money for the male and female singles winner combined. The Honey Deuce is a mix of vodka, lemonade, and a raspberry liqueur, along with its signature melon balls. You see them there on that cocktail skewer. It is, get this, $23. But you do get to keep the cup.